The wrong number text message you received this morning, it wasn't an accident. It was likely the first move in a calculated 6-month industrial operation designed to liquidate your life savings. Most people believe they are too intelligent to be conned, assuming online fraud is the work of solitary hackers or primitive bots. The reality is far more unsettling. You are being targeted by a multi-billion-pound corporate machine that treats human trust as a raw material to be processed, fattened, and eventually slaughtered. Or you might imagine a scammer as a teenager in a bedroom. These operations are run out of fortified fraud factories in Southeast Asia, former luxury casinos now guarded by men with AK-47s. This is not a test of your IQ, it is a systemic siege of your emotional defences. By the end of this analysis, you'll understand the exact end-to-end workflow of a modern scam compound. We will break down the ether state used to bypass your rational brain, the technical exploits that allow fake apps to bypass Apple security, and the underground banking system moving billions in stolen Bitcoin through the Mekong region. Where does a scam physically begin? These operations are not virtual, they are industrial, in specific economic zones across Cambodia and Myanmar. Massive criminal syndicates have converted hotels into smart cities dedicated to fraud. Inside, the hierarchy is strictly corporate, featuring HR departments, technical support, and keyboarders who manage the daily pings to victims. Crucially, however, the person on the other side of your screen is often a victim themselves. Thousands of people are lured into these zones with fake job adverts, only to have their passports seized and be forced into debt bondage. If they fail to meet their daily engagement quotas, often thousands of messages per day, they face physical violence or electric shocks. You are not just talking to a criminal, you are interacting with a production line of coerced labour. This synergy of human trafficking and high-tech fraud has created a scam industrial complex that now rivals the global drug trade in scale. So how do they win your trust for months without ever asking for a single penny? Modern scammers use a technique called financial grooming. Unlike traditional phishing, which relies on urgency, these operations are patient. They use large language models like ChatGPT or FraudGPT to maintain grammatically perfect, culturally fluent conversations that mirror your interests and emotional needs. The goal is to move you into a psychological state known as the ether. In this state, a heightened emotional response, whether it's excitement about a new romance or a guaranteed investment, effectively disables the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for logical filtering. Once you are under the ether, red flags that would normally be obvious are filtered out to protect the positive hypothesis you've built about this new friend. This is why standard advice like look for poor grammar or don't click links is dangerously outdated. AI has removed the linguistic tails, and the scammer might not send you a link for 3 months. So how do they make a fraudulent investment look official? Once trust is established, the scammer introduces the bait. They don't ask for a wire transfer to a personal account, they direct you to a professional-looking trading platform. Many exploit legitimate software like MetaTrader 4 or 5 by using modified versions of these apps. Scammers can connect you to a malicious backend server they control, displaying fake market data and fabricated profits. On iPhones, they bypass the App Store's walled garden by tricking you into installing an enterprise mobile device management or an MDM profile. This gives the scam syndicate the same level of control over your phone that a large corporation has over a work device, allowing them to install custom, unvetted apps directly. To cement the illusion, they use the small win mechanism. They encourage you to withdraw a small amount of your profit back to your regular bank account. This successful withdrawal is the ultimate psychological hook. It proves the platform is real, leading victims to invest their entire life savings or take out second mortgages. We are now seeing the integration of deepfake video and voice cloning. A real-time face swap filter can now prove a scammer's identity through a video call, or a cloned voice can simulate a distress call from a loved one. So what happens when you try to withdraw your millions? This is the final phase, the slaughter. The platform suddenly freezes. A customer service agent informs you that you must pay a 15% IRS tax or an anti-money laundering fee before the funds can be released. Desperate to recover their initial investment, victims fall for the sunk cost fallacy, sending even more money into the void. So where does that money go? It enters a sophisticated digital underground. Platforms like Huione Guarantee, a Cambodian conglomerate with ties to regional power structures, act as a one-stop shop for scammers. Huione provides escrow services for illegal transactions, moving billions in USDT, a cryptocurrency tied to the US dollar, through thousands of intermediary wallets to cover the trail. In 2024 alone, Huione linked infrastructure processed an estimated 11 billion in transactions, creating a financial sanctuary for organised crime. The scale is so massive that a single recent US-UK operation seized $14 billion in Bitcoin from just one syndicate, the Prince Group. So what does this mean for your safety? The traditional red flags have been neutralised by technology. In an age of industrialised fraud, slow is the new danger. A scammer who is willing to talk to you for half a year is more dangerous than one who asks for money on day one. The real-world risk reduction requires a zero-trust policy for any digital relationship that moves off-platform. If a match on LinkedIn or a wrong number on WhatsApp tries to pivot to investment tips or cryptocurrency, the relationship must be terminated immediately. Furthermore, visual or auditory proof are no longer absolute. If a friend or a colleague makes financial requests via video or voice note, you must verify it through an out-of-band channel, such as calling their known landline number or meeting in person. The most potent weapon in modern scam operation isn't AI or the modified apps, it's the patience. These syndicates understand that trust is the only lock they can't pick with code, so they buy it with time. In the digital world, we often assume that a long-term connection equals a safe one, but in the fraud factories of the Mekong, they're simply waiting for the pig to be fat enough for the slaughter. The question is no longer whether you're smart enough to spot a scam, but whether you are disciplined enough to stay above the ether. If you enjoyed this video, I really appreciate a thumbs up and a subscribe. It would mean a lot to me. And if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to check out my other ones. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.